So, have you ever gotten to the end of the month, looked at your bank account, and just wondered, where did all my money go? Yeah, you are definitely not alone. If you've ever felt like you should be in control of your finances, but just didn't know where to even begin, well, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to break down the playbook for building a really solid financial foundation, starting right now. All right, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to become financial detectives and figure out where your money is actually going. Then we'll create a battle plan to give every single dollar a job. After that, we'll give that plan a real purpose by setting some exciting goals. Then we'll get into the fun stuff, uncovering the secret to making your money work for you. And finally, we'll put the whole thing on autopilot so you can build these habits for the long haul. Okay, first things first, and honestly, this is the most crucial step of all. It's time to take the wheel. But, before you can steer your financial ship towards your goals, you've got to understand the currents that are moving your money around in the first place.
It sounds like a simple question, right? But for so many of us, the answer is kind of fuzzy. A coffee here, a subscription there, it all just adds up. That feeling of where did it all go is exactly what we're going to solve first. Let's pull back the curtain.
Think about it like this. You wouldn't try to get in shape without knowing your starting point, right? Tracking your spending isn't about feeling restricted. It's about awareness. It's about getting the actual data you need to make powerful, intentional decisions instead of just guessing. And when you start tracking, you basically unlock a few superpowers. Seriously, you start to see patterns you never even noticed before. You'll find these little money leaks that are easy to plug. And most importantly, you get this incredible sense of control and peace of mind. You finally become the boss of your money, not the other way around. Okay, so you've done the detective work. You have the data. Now what? Well, now it's time to build a blueprint. And we're going to use a really simple but incredibly effective method called zero-based budgeting. This is where you tell your money exactly what to do. And the idea here is actually beautiful in its simplicity. Just imagine your monthly income is a team of employees. With a zero-based budget, you're the manager. You give every single one of those dollars a specific job to do for the month. Whether that job is paying rent, buying groceries, crushing debt, or building your future, no dollar is left unemployed. So how do you actually do it? It's just 4 simple steps. 1, write down your total monthly take-home pay. 2, list out all of your expenses. And don't worry, we'll break this down in a sec. 3, do the math. Income minus expenses has to equal 0. And 4, this is the most important part. You have to track your spending against your new plan. That's it. You can totally do this. And look, using a template like this one makes the whole thing so much easier. It breaks everything down into 4 main buckets. You've got your fixed expenses. Those are the bills that are pretty much the same each month. Then you have your variable expenses, the ones that change. And finally, you have dedicated sections for paying down debt and actively building up your savings. Let's just quickly clarify the difference here. Fixed expenses are predictable, right? Think rent, your phone bill, maybe a car payment. Variable expenses are where you have a lot more control from month to month. Things like your groceries, how much gas you use, or how often you eat out. This is usually where you can find some wiggle room if you need it. So this is it. This is the magic formula. Now, if you list all your expenses and you find you actually have money left over, that is awesome. But you're not done yet. That leftover money needs a job too. So you're going to assign it directly to a savings goal, maybe an emergency fund or a down payment. Give every last cent a purpose. And speaking of purpose, a budget without a why is just a boring spreadsheet. Let's be honest. To actually stick with it, you need to be excited about what you're working toward. And that motivation, it comes from having clear, personal financial goals. A really good way to think about this is in terms of time. So what do you want to achieve in the next year? Maybe it's just building a small safety net so you can sleep a little better at night. What about in 1 to 3 years? A new car? A big trip? And then look further out. What are those big dreams? Buying a home? Financial independence? Take a second and really think about what your why is. And this, right here, is where the magic happens. Because when you see your budget not as a set of rules holding you back, but as the actual roadmap to get you to your dreams, everything changes. It becomes a tool of empowerment. It helps you say no to the little things you don't really care about, so you can scream yes to the big things that you do. Okay, so you're tracking your spending, you're budgeting, you're saving for your goals. Now we get to the really exciting part, making your money start working for you. This is where we talk about your secret weapon for building wealth, and that weapon is time. Let me introduce you to your new best friend, compound interest. It's kind of like a snowball rolling down a really big hill. At first, it's small, but as it rolls, it picks up more and more snow, getting bigger and faster. It's the same with your money. Your investments earn money, and then that money starts earning its own money. Over time, that growth just becomes this unstoppable exponential force. The key ingredient is just time.
To see just how powerful this is, let me tell you a quick story about two investors. We've got Alex, who starts investing $1,000 a month at age 20, but then stops completely after just 10 years. Then there's John. He starts later, at age 30, but he invests that same amount for 20 years straight. Who do you think ends up with more?
Now, logically, you'd probably say John, right? I mean, he contributed $240,000. That's double what Alex put in. So it seems obvious he should end up with way more money. But let's see what actually happens.
At age 65, Alex, the one who only invested for 10 years and then didn't touch it, ends up with a staggering $1.4 million. Wow, that early start gave his money decades and decades to just compound on itself. It's like he planted a money tree and just let it grow for 45 years.
And what about John? Well, despite investing twice as much money for twice as long, he actually ends up with over $200,000 less than Alex. He just couldn't make up for that lost decade of compounding. It's an absolutely mind-blowing lesson. Think about that. That 10-year head start was worth more than an extra $120,000 in cash contributions from John. Time really is your single greatest asset when it comes to investing. The earlier you start, even with just a little bit, the more powerful the effect becomes. So the big question is, how do we make all of this stuff, the budgeting, the saving, the investing, how do we make it stick for good? Well, the final step is to put the entire system on autopilot so you can just focus on living your life. And the key is automation. It's so simple. You just set up automatic transfers to your savings and investment accounts for the day you get paid. This does a few amazing things. It gets rid of the temptation to spend that money, it builds consistency without you even having to think about it, and it helps you avoid making emotional decisions when things get a little shaky. You're paying yourself first, and that is a game-changing move.
And all of this brings us to our final thought. You know, it might seem like discipline is all about restriction, but when it comes to your money, building these disciplined habits is what actually creates freedom. The freedom from debt, freedom from stress, and the freedom to build the life you truly want. So, what's the first dollar you're going to give a job to today?